Hello, my name is April and welcome to the Yoga Ranger Studio and welcome to our practice today. Today is a requested practice from a large number of people and honestly a practice that really touches home with me as well. This practice is for those of you with a very painful cycle or a painful period. So cramping and this tension through the pelvis can be really painful. And if you're someone who suffers from Dysmenorrhea or uterine fibroids, I myself have uterine fibroids, your cycle can be really painful to the point of feeling almost equivalent to childbirth pains. Yes, they do. I've had 2 children, so I know. This can be a really tough thing to work through in your cycle, and it can be utterly debilitating, making it difficult to get through your day, through your life, to function with this level of pain and discomfort. I don't guarantee that this practice will fix that. So far in my life, I have not found something to really make it all better, but I think there are things that you can do to help soften it and make it a little bit more easier to bear and help you function and be able to function. So this practice I have been working on for a while. It was requested a while back from several people, but it's taken me a while to kind of work through it to see if I can find things that would be helpful. So we're going to be working with the concepts of warmth, compression, and opening. So I've looked at the meridians that seem to work most closely with these cyclical cramping changes, like a painful period, and liver meridian, storage of the blood and helping filter estrogen and progesterone and helping modulate hormonal response, part of it. Spleen, helping sort of filter and adjust the blood, helping deliver blood to and from locations as well. And working with the sacral chakra, the kidney and bladder meridians, the space of the pelvis itself, and helping open that up and let the flow come the way it should with less pain. So the only props you would use today, and you can grab as many as you want, especially if you are on your cycle and you are feeling really bad. Lots of blankets make it feel a little bit better. A blanket underneath for your comfort, and definitely a bolster. But if you don't have a bolster, you can do a couple of blankets stacked on top of each other, or you can grab some throw pillows or some pillows from your bed. So we're going to start in deer pose. So bring the bottoms of the feet together to start with. And we're going to take that right leg back behind us and tuck it back as far as you can comfortably. Now you could sit on a blanket here if you needed to for this tilt, or you can bring this foot in a little bit closer. But one hand to the inside, one hand to the outside. Here we're going to work with the liver meridians on the inside of the leg, stomach and spleen meridians on the top side of the leg, really getting into these spaces. And also kidney bladder meridians. So kidney meridian runs on the inside. So sitting up nice and tall, I feel like this pose is very grounding too. So when you're in pain and you're in your cycle, you tend to have a lot of emotions. You're obviously in pain, so you're more emotional over the pain as well. And this kind of tends to be still. There's a stillness to this pose. So finding that stillness and settling into the pose, settling into your breath. I find the breath can really help me manage the pain and discomfort. So breathing belly, chest, collarbones, exhaling collarbones, chest, belly. Nice full breaths out to the side, nice full breaths out to the back. Really breathe into those areas you feel a lot of tension and tightness in. Pain makes us kind of pull in and cramp up more, like our entire body. The muscles tend to just grab on and fire. What we want to do is sort of soften this space. Just about one more minute here. I find that during my cycle, I like to want to be very warm. So keeping yourself warm can be very helpful in reducing cramping and pain. Also, in traditional Chinese medicine, the colder you get, if you have cramping and you get colder and you have more cramping, you really want to keep yourself warm, eating warm foods, warm liquids, staying warm physically. Start to lean a little bit over to the left, swing that right leg back around super slow. Take the feet flat, rock them side to side. Bring the bottoms of the feet together again here, leaning over to the right, taking that left leg back behind us. One hand in, one hand out, giving a little bit of lift up through the center line. When you first get into this pose, you notice you hold a lot of tension in the upper leg and thigh. Just breathe into that space. Maybe even taking your hand, give yourself a little massage. I know that some of that pain often radiates down into the legs and the back of the legs, and I often feel some tightness and tension developing in the upper thigh, lower back space. Coming back to that breath. Just about one more minute here. Start to lean a little bit over to the right this time. Take that left leg back around, super slow. Bring the feet flat, lean back. Start to windshield wiper those knees a little bit side to side, or take your legs out straight if that feels better for you. We're going to come on to hands and knees. So this is where your bolster might come in handy for our sleeping swan. So take that out in front of you the length of the mat. You're going to bring that right knee over to that right wrist. Walk that left leg back. You can take that bolster down and just lower yourself onto it. If you want to come all the way down, you can. You can just use it as a prop. I like to tuck it a little bit underneath my belly so I get a little bit of compression there as well. Working to just open up the front side of the hips, the inner leg. Just about one more minute here. Letting your body release into that bolster a little bit here. Allowing it to support you. Gently start to lift up. Take your hands on either side of that bolster and shift back to downward facing dog. You can walk your dog out. Sometimes it feels really good to come up on the toes and shift the hips back, stretch the lower back, and start to straighten the legs. When the pelvis hurts, then the lower back also hurts. Coming back down on hands and knees, shifting that bolster or pillows over a little bit. Left knee over to left wrist, walk that right leg back. Take your bolster and tuck it underneath so you get that support underneath your pelvis, however you want. Settle in. Just about one more minute here. Starting to lift yourself back up, shifting back into your downward facing dog again here. Here again, bending the knees, shifting the hips up and back, stretching the low back and the legs and the hips. And then coming down into child's pose. Just for a few breaths here, resting your head on the bolster or blankets or pillows. And taking this a little bit wider, we're going to tuck that pillows and bolsters in a little bit tighter to the hips. Take the knees wider. Sit back here for just a breath here and feel this stretch on the top of the thighs. And then slowly lower the body down. I'm going to tell you when to turn your head. You can turn your head to one side or the other, or you can just turn it straight down if that feels okay for you. If you have your head turned to the side, go ahead and switch which way your head is turned. Finally start to walk those hands in and press yourself up You're going to shift that bolster back a little bit. Bring the knees a little bit closer together. We're going to flip ourselves around. So I know that many people find saddle a very challenging pose, but we're going to offer some options here. So you can tuck the feet underneath you and just lean back. Some people find this an option. What we're trying to do is, once again, open up this space and make a little room. You can have the heels on either side and settle your bum all the way down to the floor. You can use a bolster or not. I find that a bolster helps me get a little more opening. You can lower all the way down or not. We're not going to be here for a super long time. Letting the knees go as wide as you need them to feel comfortable here. Breathe into this space. You can even just be seated upright and just lean back a little bit if that feels better for you. This is great for sort of opening up the front side of the legs, the hips, and the belly. You can even take your hands and just shift the ribs up just a little bit so you get more opening here. I find that often this is a congested feeling, and in traditional Chinese medicine is often dysmenorrhea or uterine fibroids are congestion or stagnation in this space. So opening it up, making a little more room here, activating those meridians, helping clear things out. Maybe if you have your hands alongside your feet, you can give your feet a little massage for the next few breaths. Knowing that all of our meridians begin or end in the feet. So giving the feet a little attention always helps us feel a little better. Keeping the feet warm here. 2 more deep breaths. Maybe inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Gently lifting your chin to your chest and slowly pressing yourself up using your hands or your elbows. Leaning a little bit to the left and to the right to unwind the legs and take them out straight in front of you. Super slow. Go into yin slow, we come out of yin slow, right? Wiggle the feet a little bit side to side, wiggle the toes. I'm going to take that bolster off to the side. Come all the way down onto the back. So arms out to the side, palms up. Shift the hips way over to the right. Bring the knees up into the chest and drop them over to the left. Now I like to take my left hand and weigh that side down. It doesn't matter if the shoulder's off the floor. You might want the shoulder more on the floor and the knees off the floor. You can use a block or bolster underneath the knees. I like to take my knees closer and let my arm kind of hang out there. You can turn and look over your right shoulder. Take the legs out further from you or nearer to you. So heels can be closer or not. Welcome back up through center, unwind here. You're going to shift the hips this time over to the left really far. Bring the knees into the chest. Drop those knees over to the right. Turn and look over your left shoulder if that feels comfortable for you. Slowly releasing, but instead of coming all the way up, we're going to roll all the way down onto our bellies. We're going to take Shavasana on the belly, so you can take the hands out in front, head down on the back of the hands. Wiggle the hips a little bit, allow them to soften here. Breathing into the belly space, letting the hips get heavy on the forward side. And feel the breath going down into the pelvis. That soft compression of the ground on the front side of the pelvis. If you can, stay here as long as you can. Just feeling your breath, the belly pressing into the floor, a little bit of soft warmth and compression. You can even add a blanket to the lower back here to feel a little warmth across the back. If this is all the time you have, go ahead and take your hands underneath your shoulders. Very slowly press up. Come into whatever seated position you like best. Take your hands, palms down onto your knees. On an exhale, drop those fingertips down to the floor. Inhale, sweep the hands all the way up. Reach up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart. Peace and namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope it helps you feel just a little bit better, helps you manage that kind of painful period that you may be having. Definitely reach out to your healthcare provider for some suggestions, but also take a look at a traditional Chinese medicine herbalist doctor or an acupuncturist who has a Chinese medicine herbal background. They could probably provide you with a lot of suggestions for food and nutrition, as well as herbal supplements that could help relieve this pain or make it more bearable or manageable for you. And also help with acupuncture and helping relax and release the space, helping anything that goes along with it, the pain and discomfort throughout the body, bring more balance to the hormones themselves. So reach out to an acupuncturist or traditional Chinese medicine doctor, as well as your healthcare provider, to get a little bit of both in there. Take care of yourself, be super kind, stay warm. See if you can take some time out, take some time for alone stillness time. I find that I want to be alone. I just want to kind of be on my own a little bit when I'm in a lot of pain from the uterine fibroids. So take that time for yourself. Give yourself a little babying time, some little self-care, self-love time. I wish you the very best. Have a great week.